On today's episode of Talk to Aunty Rosy, I am going to be talking to you about self-awareness. Hi, I am Rose Jones, and I am your host here at Talk to Aunty Rosy Podcast. For the first time listeners, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a survivor of self-hate. I am a survivor of domestic violence, and I am a survivor of childhood trauma. And I am currently battling PTSD, but I didn't allow any of that to stop me. I decided to use all the things for good. So I created a community for women who are in their beginning stages of self-healing. And in my community, I help women with skill building. I give them useful tools they can use on their journey to self-love and self-healing. I have educational programs. And most of all, I have love and support. On this podcast, I will be sharing my life experiences. I will be having those deep, uncomfortable conversations. I'm also going to be showering you with love and support and giving you advice and encouraging words. If you would love to become a weekly listener, I want you to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Now, let's dive into today's topic. What you don't know. How can you change what you don't know? In other words, if you're not aware of something, how can you change it? I was so guilty of this. I used to love to blame people for how I'm feeling and make excuses for my actions and ignore things that was right in front of me. I used to think that it was okay to do this because this is how I always been. Until one day exact words to me was, why do you get to blame me for the way that you're feeling and acting? I was hella confused. I was like, who are you talking to? And what are you talking about? You're trying to confuse me. I really thought that this person was trying to change the subject or trying to shift the blame so they won't have to deal with what they just done to me. Instead of this person answering my question, they asked me to stop yelling at them. You know what I did? I continued to yell. I got louder and louder because in that moment, I felt attacked and I wanted answers. You know what that person did? They turned around and walked away. It left me standing there confused as hell. To make myself feel better, I screamed, and jumped in my car and started blasting my music. But the question, why do you get to blame me for your feelings and action, was stuck in my head on replay. I kept hearing it over and over and over. It got louder and louder. I could no longer focus on the music, so I grabbed my phone and I went to my best friend, Google, and I searched up, why do other people blame other people for their actions? To sum up what Google said, anything that we produce that is negative, we don't want ownership of. So we tend to give that ownership to someone else. I said to myself, yeah, that's right, but my actions may not be owned by them, but they are the reason for them. To sum it all up, when you transfer your ownership, you're also transferring control. So you're saying that this person or thing is in control, which isn't true. You're in control of yourself. So you have the power to control your actions and feelings. That person may influence your behavior or feelings, but you ultimately have a choice to choose how you respond to the influence. You can respond positive or negative. That's solely up to you. The problem here is that we may not be aware of the things that's stopping us from healing or growing. We like to live our life based on our perspective of life. But again, not realizing that our perspective is based on what we have experienced, and the experience that we have encountered and learned. It will be hard for you to see the world outside of your perspective because you live in like a tunnel vision. You don't see anything to the left or the right. You just look at everything straight forward. So if you never seen or experienced something, you don't believe that it can enter into your reality. So when your reality is being challenged, you feel attacked. You go right into defense mode, like, what up? Try to protect the reality that you do know. This was a problem for me because it was stopping me from healing because I was always in defense mode, like building walls to keep my reality in, not caring what anybody has to say. I wouldn't let nobody help me. As a result of that, I allowed people to use me. I allowed people to control me. And these are people that is in my reality. I let people convince me that things that was good for me, it wasn't. I lived in my influenced behavior and emotions. I wasn't exploring me. I wasn't getting to know me. I was just living life as is, not digging deep. I stayed on the surface for a very long time. And then I started to explore my why behind why am I acting this way. If you ever experienced this or you ever are going through something like that, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments right now. The way I was able to change this was discovering my why behind my actions. So when I felt myself doing something that was negative or I was doing something that I didn't want to do, I'll start exploring my why. I would ask myself, why are you doing this, Rose? Why are you allowing people to make you feel like? By asking myself why, I discovered the why behind why I was allowing people to make me feel like shit was because I wanted to feel love. It wasn't the best version of love, but it was enough to keep me hanging on. By me discovering and becoming aware of that, I realized that something was wrong with me. Because who in their right mind would allow or settle for the bare minimum? So I started to fix what was wrong with me by seeking the type of love that I desired. By reading books on love, watching videos, being around people that displayed the type of love I wanted. And most importantly, I started to apply the things that I learned about love to my personal life. One of the most powerful things that I learned about love is when you learn to love yourself, you'll learn to walk away. Because you have to preserve your love for yourself. A quick note, when I walked away from my abusive relationship, I didn't quite love myself yet, but it was definitely the end goal. And I knew staying in that relationship would definitely jeopardize me loving myself and doing the work that I need to do to ensure that I do love myself. So I want you to know that you don't have to wait to be in love with yourself to walk away from abusive relationships, unwanted conversations, a job, an unsupported friend. Your walk can be the start of your journey to self-love. And I want you to realize that when that person walked away from me, that was them preserving their self-love. When I became aware of how powerful walking away is, I knew that I didn't have to fight no more. My absence speaks louder than any words I can say. Now, tell me how you're feeling right now in the comments. Was this overwhelming? Was it helpful? Did it challenge your reality? Now, for the women who are serious about getting help with healing and want to learn the tools and skills they need to live life unapologetically, I want to invite you to our Facebook group called Let Rose Speak Sisterhood. This is not your basic group. We have weekly challenges, monthly lives sessions where I answer questions about self-healing, self-love, and personal development. Inside the group, we motivate each other, we support each other, and most of all, this is a no judgment zone. And the best part is that it's private and it's free. So if you want to join the Facebook group, you can click the link in the description, or you can search us up on Facebook at Let Rose Speak Sisterhood. If you enjoy today's episode, then you don't want to miss next week's episode. So hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. I love replying to comments, interacting with you guys, because Auntie got you back. And remember, Aunty Rosy is here to listen. So come talk to me. I'll see you next week, where we will be talking about self-acceptance. Love you one. See you guys next week.